Hello, I'm Adin sir. Welcome to the awesomeness that is the Protection Paladin. I am really in love with this spec at the moment. Now, I wanted to make another video before I went on my holiday in Greece tomorrow, and I planned on making a guide for the Discipline Priest as I leveled him up next. However, I started doing a few dailies with my Paladin, and our group needed a tank, so I started tanking, and after a couple of dungeon runs I noticed how potent of a tank Prot can actually be. Then I asked my friends if I can try soloing the first boss in Dark Heart Ticket, and wouldn't you know it, the boss fell with relative ease. So in this video is the complete run of Eye of Azshara, heroic, minus the trash, because they are really easy to kill and not that interesting to watch. Now the first boss is definitely by far the hardest one of the 5. The last one is also hard, but completely negated by the charger ability paladins have. Anyway, this big naga spawns 2 adds, 1 caster and 1 melee. The caster does some magic damage, but can also cast a channeled heal that needs to be interrupted at all costs, otherwise it's a sure wipe, or in the paladin's case a longer fight. Thankfully the boss gets rid of one of the adds himself with his spear. It basically travels to the target, which is in this case only me, and I have to position myself so that the adds are between me and the boss. That's not hard, that's the basic tactic, but when you solo this you have to keep in mind to kill a full HP add with the spear instead of a low HP one, unless again it's a wipe. Not only that, but because you are one person you have to navigate through the slow on the ground that actually does a lot of damage. So because I'm focusing the adds the whole fight and the boss gets only like cleave damage, the fight lasts forever. It actually lasted 25 minutes and I almost had a heart attack at the end, and you'll see why. The most important thing to take out of this video is that during this one try, so one pull, I learned the ins and outs of this spec. And I would recommend to anyone try something like this if you're a tank, as it makes you think, adapt and improve in a lot of ways. I wiped on this boss 3 times before this pull, twice on 87% and once on 77%. And after those wipes, which lasted for like 10 minutes, I really thought there was no way to do it. Then I said to myself, okay, last try, and I started thinking about the tactics and how to use them to my advantage, and I completely perfected the gameplay for this fight, specifically towards the end. So before the end, before the berserk phase, I actually learned how to stay alive without using a single cooldown. Then came the berserk phase, for which I saved literally all my cooldowns and started using them one by one. It was so hectic, I was full of adrenaline and was completely focused on staying alive from second to second. So in that phase he hit harder while the adds kept coming. Soon I ended up with no cooldowns, and I kept watching for something, anything on my bar to light up so that I can live. But what saved me multiple times was the boss himself, when he stopped DPSing me and casted an ability or the other. So that way I had time to heal and regain my cooldowns. Now right at the end I just said fuck the adds and popped whatever I had, which was Blessing of Protection, and finished off the boss. It was an immensely satisfying experience. The 3 bosses after that were really easy by comparison. The Naga Witch didn't even spend any of my cooldowns, I even stood in every AoE and every stun, and nothing. It took 9 minutes to kill. Serpentis I thought would be impossible to kill because of all the heads. Turns out all you have to do is not encircle the boss with the slime and kill the heads in the correct order while moving around them to avoid the rampage from the green head. The giant was as easy as the witch, however I almost died by not noticing he had a berserk phase as well. So with all of my CDs on cooldown, from me popping them for fun basically, it was kinda hard to stay alive, but yeah, not really. He even gives you a shield, so true, you would have to pop it yourself if it was a normal fight, to not damage the other party members, but as a tank it goes off on its own. Lastly, the Wrath of Azshara. Now I wiped here once because of the stun. If you don't know about the stun, it's a debuff that he puts on you, and after around 12 or to 15 seconds it explodes, dealing massive damage, stunning you for 5 seconds. Now this can be dispelled easily by a healer, as it is a magic debuff, so only healers can dispel. Without a healer it would be impossible to live through that multiple times. Of course it would be possible once, I did it, but you simply don't have enough cooldowns, even with the Divine Shield and the Head of Protection. But while fighting the odds prior to the boss, I accidentally got rid of the debuff with my Charger, that's the mount ability. So I went to respec to 2 Chargers, and it was relatively easy to kill. I also changed 2 or 3 more talents to try another build, but it was borderline not viable for soloing stuff. It has some benefits, but they are only for normal tanking. I did, however, manage to kill the boss with this build, and the only really dangerous parts of the fight were the other debuff he puts on you, which is a guaranteed hit, and you have to pop some defenses for it. And the second hard part was the berserk. The boss really hits hard, and I think there is more shit on the ground, although I'm not sure about that. And that was basically it. It took me 3 hours and 4 wipes with 1 respec at the end. And by the way, I have only 1 big trait in the artifact talent tree, and it's not that good either, because prot is basically my off spec at the moment. So I imagine with more gear and more practice soloing, the heroic dungeons will be easy. So then we move on to mythic, I guess. Honestly, if I was in charge of an old school guild, I would make my tanks try to kill at least the first boss in here, and they will learn how to wipe, how to improve, and they would also master their class and of course have fun along the way. Sadly, that's in the distant past. If you enjoyed this type of video, I will make more in the future, as I always liked soloing content which is not meant to be soloed. Also, if I have enough time, I will make a guide for these 2 builds of the Protection Paladin before Saturday, but if not, then see ya after the raids launch. Thanks for watching.